Welcome and thank you for standing by. At this time, all participants are in a listen-only mode. During the question and answer session, please press star one and you must record your name to ask a question. Today's conference is being recorded. If you have any objections, you may disconnect at this time. Now I'll turn the meeting over to Jared Liu. Sir, you may begin.
Great, thank you very much, and thanks everyone for joining. This is the Thursday webcast series. It's a bi-monthly webcast held at the lunch hour. The trainings leverage local successes by amplifying to a larger audience to model organizations, methods, materials, and approaches. Sessions are planned to last no more than 1 hour, with two presenters speaking on the same topic from slightly different perspectives, each for 10 to 15 minutes, followed by 10 to 15 minutes of questions and answers. This session is approved by the ISA for 1 CEU hour and by SAF for 1 CFE Category 1. If you haven't already given me your certification number, you can email me after this session. Also, most state landscape architecture boards require only a certificate of completion, which ACT is happy to provide to members who request as well. This is a program of the Alliance for Community Trees, and we encourage you to consider joining if you're not a member. We want to thank the sponsors of today's call, the Home Depot Foundation and the USDA Forest Service. Today's session is Landscaping for Property Value. Studies conducted around the country confirm this, but any realtor will tell you that trees can increase the value of a home. In fact, property values of homes with trees in the landscape are 5 to 20% higher than the equivalent properties without trees, and just adding a few trees can increase the sales price of homes by 1% and speed the sale of a home by 4 to 6 weeks. Adding trees in just 4,000 yards could increase home sales by a combined estimate of $10.4 million. Our first presenter today is Jeffrey Donovan. He's a research forester for the USDA Forest Service's Pacific Northwest Research Station. His two main research areas are the economics of wildfire and economics of urban forestry. And his urban forestry work includes studies quantifying the effect of trees on property value, energy use, crime, and health. Jeffrey has a bachelor's degree in biochemistry from Sheffield University and a doctorate in forest economics from Colorado State University. You can see his publications at www.donovan.hnri.info. I think he's going to give you that website again in his presentation, but if he doesn't, I'll mention it again at the end. Jeffrey, we're happy to have you back. Thanks.
Thank you very much, Jared. Thanks for inviting me to speak. And today I'm going to talk about a study recently completed in Portland, Oregon, looking at the effect of street trees on property values. And when we're talking about this study, in an attempt to answer three questions which Jared put to me, and he suggested it might be of interest to this audience. And they are essentially, how much do trees add to property values? Does the type, size, health of a tree matter? And also the location and the distribution of those benefits. So those are the questions that I'm going to be trying to answer. So this study we conducted, and I should say this was done just on street trees. When I mean street trees, typically it's in the green parking strip between the pavement and the street, although occasionally in Portland there's a green boulevard down the middle of the street. This is a pragmatic choice simply because we didn't have access to trees in private land and couldn't make the same measurements. So this slide will show you that this study involved 3,479 single-family home sales that occurred between July 2006 and April 2007. It's every pink dot there represents the house we visited. In case you're wondering, which I did initially, the northernmost pink dot there, it looks like it's in the Columbia River. It's Staffordville Island, so that isn't a mistake. And we visited each pink dot here, each house, or rather my graduate student did, and measured the height, diameter, canopy area. The canopy area we actually did with Google Earth. It was easier. The health, did trees look obviously sick? The species group. And here, before I did this study, I hypothesized that trees, flowering trees, might have a greater effect in the springtime. And also the fruiting trees possibly could have a less positive effect in the fall because to some people trees are a nuisance, fruit trees are a nuisance rather. And similarly, there may be a difference between deciduous and coniferous trees. So we just divided trees into four broad categories. This was deciduous, deciduous fruiting, deciduous flowering, deciduous odor, and then coniferous. And finally, we also recorded whether a tree had been severely pruned. Typically, this was to keep it away from power lines. As I said, because of access issues, we only looked at street trees, but we did control for trees on the lot using a GIS layer of canopy cover. So we did account for that. We also accounted for a whole host of other characteristics of the house, which are probably of no great interest to you. Although if those things do interest you, I encourage you to read the publication, which is on my website. And we looked at two things. We looked at the effect of these trees on sales price, and we looked at the effect on time on the market. And the reason we looked at time on the market is because a lot of studies have shown that as time on the market increases, sales price decreases. So it's possible trees could affect sales price in two ways, either directly by increasing it or indirectly by decreasing time on the market. So we looked at both of these things. Now, there's a couple of ways of looking at these results. And the first way here is to look at the effect of multiple trees on a single home. So the dark grey house there would be one of those pink dots in the previous figure. And we found two things were significant. One, the number of street trees directly fronting a house. In this case, that would be the dark grey tree. And we also found that the crown area of street trees within 100 feet, but not directly fronting the house, so that would be the light grey trees there, also affected it. Now, the trees fronting the house, we found it was just the number and not the size that mattered. That it doesn't mean that size didn't matter. I think it was for statistical reasons that was correlated with the size of the other trees that made it difficult to detect that effect, which leads to a sort of more general point. In the cases where we didn't find something was significant, that doesn't mean that it didn't affect sales price. That means that we didn't find it. So absence of proof is not proof of no effect. So to give you an idea of the size of these effects, on average, a house in our study had 0.558, so just over half the street tree in front of it. A lot of houses had no street trees at all. And then the canopy cover within 100 feet, but not including those directly fronting the house, so the light grey trees there. On average, that was 904 square feet canopy cover. And that added nearly $9,000 to the price of the house, which was equivalent to adding 129 square feet to the size of the house. So really quite significant effects here. Now, if we extrapolate to all of Portland, and I will give a cautionary tale about extrapolating later, Portland has a population of 537,000 about. The total value of street trees is about $1.4 billion. And using a few assumptions in gymnastics, we estimated that this would increase annual property tax revenues in Portland by about $15 million. So that hopefully goes some way to answering question one, at least here in Portland. So question two is, does size, height, type, health of a tree matter? And as our results showed here, the size definitely does matter, at least as we measured it, crown area mattered. We didn't find that height and diameter mattered, but that I think is largely because they're so closely correlated with crown area. They're all essentially a measure of size, just a crown area was a slightly better measure. So I think that the take-home message there is that the size of a tree, however measured, matters. As to species, we didn't find that different species groups had any differential effect. We also isolated just sales in the spring and looked at the effect of flowering trees, just sales in the fall, the effect of fruiting trees, and there was no effect. Again, that's just maybe a function of how we chose to describe species. If we had described them in a different manner, we may have found a different result. And then finally, we didn't find that health mattered, although in this case, simply because there was less than 1% of the street trees showed obvious signs of disease. So it would just be there wasn't enough really obviously sick trees for us to detect a result. So now to question three, which is essentially the distribution. Does the location of a tree matter? Well, to answer this question, it's a little easier if we look at these results slightly differently. So rather than look at the effect of multiple trees on a single home, as in this figure, what we can do is use the same result to look at the effect of a single tree on multiple homes, as the figure here. So for this one dark grey tree outside the dark grey house, if we assume that it's the average for our sample, average size, which was 312 square feet of canopy cover, that tree adds about $7,000 just to the sales price of the house it fronts. However, we found that on average, it also added around $13,000 to the value of houses within 100 feet. That's not to each house. There was on average 7 within 100 feet, but in total. So that says that tree then is worth around $20,000 though the benefit, only about 7,000, just over a third, is experienced by the adjacent property owner. So we only look at trees within 100 feet, and I'm currently doing some research to see the exact spatial extent, to see how far out that sort of a spillover effect goes. So why does this spillover effect matter? Well, in Portland, as in other cities, adjacent property owners are responsible for the care and maintenance of trees. And I'm an economist, and in economics, when we have a situation where one person bears all the costs of something but doesn't experience all the benefits, we call that a positive externality. What we know is that in the case of positive externalities, you'll have too little of that thing from the community point of view. So in this case, if the care and if the provision and maintenance of street trees is left solely to property owners in Portland, we know there'll be too few from a community point of view. And there are several policy instruments that one could use to address that problem. The city, or indeed another group, a non-profit, or at a smaller scale, a homeowners association, could take on some of the maintenance, or there could be programs that offer incentives or tax breaks to property owners to provide trees. And there are a couple of modest programs in Portland to do just that. Now, I imagine most people, I should say also, time on the market. We did find that trees reduce time on the market by an average 1.7 days. I should say this is street trees, again, not trees on the lot. And 1.7 days resulted in an increase in sales price of a princely $88. So in our study, we found that trees had a bigger direct effect, but that their indirect effect on sales price, although statistically significant, was economically irrelevant. So most of you probably don't come from Portland. And so you may be wondering, well, how do these results extrapolate to my city? And one cautionary tale there, in the 1970s, somebody appeared on the Johnny Carson show, and he had a graph, and it showed the number of Elvis impersonators in the US increasing over time. Indeed, it showed if you extrapolated out, the entire US population would be Elvis impersonators by the mid-90s. So with that in mind, these exact numbers almost certainly don't apply in a given city. Indeed, they may not even apply in Portland anymore. This study was done at the tail end of the housing boom. It may be now that during a recession, the premium on trees is lower. I don't know. This would be an interesting question to look into. So, but although the exact numbers don't apply, the general results do, in particular these positive spillover effects. What we found is that the benefits of trees don't respect property boundaries. The costs often do, but the benefits don't. And there's nothing unique in Portland that means it would only happen here. You're probably in other cities going to see substantial benefits from street trees, and these benefits are going to spill past property boundaries. So that is about what I have to speak about here. I thought I had a slide with my website on, but apparently I didn't bring that. So I will provide that to Jared, and he can provide a link there. I'd be happy then to take any questions.
Great. Thanks, Jeffrey. Rudy, can you open the lines for questions, please?
Thank you. To ask a question, please press *1, and you must record your name. One moment, please, for the first question.
Great. And everyone has the option to type a question into the question and answer manager. Up at the top of your screen, there's a tab that says Q&A. If you type a question in, I'll come on the line and read it for you. So, well, I don't know about you, Jeffrey, but I'm sitting in a room full of Elvis impersonators here.
Indeed, yeah, maybe the graph was right, for all I know.
So
yeah.
I have a few questions to start off with. So looking at the first map that you had shown of Portland, where the pink dots are, would you say that's a fairly relative mix of different economic neighborhoods? So, like, you've taken that into account?
Yeah, it certainly it covers the whole east side of the city, which is about 80% of the. Also, we controlled the things like the neighborhood, the quality of the house, school district, things like this. So we controlled for other things because, as a lot of you know, nicer neighborhoods tend to have nicer trees, and you need to control for that.
Yeah, that was one of the things that I stumbled when I was looking through the research. Can you explain a little bit how you took those, how you were able to discount those things? I mean, and the age of the house and number of bathrooms and nice school district, all those things. There were nice charts and all. I just didn't quite follow it.
So essentially what you want to do is account for all that stuff, the nice stuff. So how far is, what we did is the neighborhood, we used zip code, we used the condition of the house, all sorts of physical things like the bathrooms, bedrooms, size of the lot. All these things, also distance to downtown we included. And after all that, what you ask yourself is, when we've accounted for all that variation in house price, do trees account for an additional amount? And that's what we did. We found that having accounted for all that variation, trees did in fact account for some additional variation. And that's what you need to be able to do. You always have to be careful in these studies that you're not just, trees aren't just a proxy for something else. Here, for an example, here in Portland, if we left out zip code from our model, we found that the height of the tallest tree became really significant. But all that means is it was proxying for some, there's a couple of very desirable neighborhoods in Portland that have old established trees, and that's really all that was happening. But once you accounted for that, that effect went away.
Can you explain the discount rate too? There was one point where you estimated the street trees increased property tax revenues by $12.6 million, and then you said assuming a discount rate of 4%, and then all of a sudden the benefits went up to $45 million, and I didn't quite follow that either.
Well, I can't remember those. He's asking me about a paper I wrote a couple of years ago. But the discount rate is pretty straightforward. It's essentially the mirror image of an interest rate. If a bank, if you give $20 to your bank to keep, they need to give you interest to so that you'll leave it with the bank. Similarly, if you have a benefit in the future, that benefit isn't worth as much as a benefit now. And if you want to compare a benefit in the future to a benefit now, you need to be able to discount that benefit to the present so that you can compare them on sort of same terms.
Okay, I gotcha. So 4% is just an average rate for that.
Yeah, that's one I often use. I mean, for most people, would you want $20 today or $20 next year?
Sure.
And most people can just say now, and even setting aside inflation, most of us, human nature, we want things now. And if benefits are going to happen in the future, and they often do with trees because they take a while to grow, then we need to discount those so that we can properly evaluate them.
Okay, and can you also explain why like there was the 7.6 houses within 100 feet. Why is it 100 feet that was chosen as the number?
That was arbitrary. I mean, we just picked one. So you nailed me on that. We thought, well, we're going to pick 100 feet and see whether that works. Now we're doing another study to see what the exact distance is. So we know that trees within 100 feet affect it, but perhaps trees within 200 or 300 also do. One would expect that effect to decline over space. So we're now looking at other distances. So yeah, that was a sort of reasonable first guess. Let's try that. It worked. But because the data collection takes so long, it took about 10 months of data collection, it's quite hard to do, it's not a trivial matter to then compare 200, 300, 400, 500. So we're in the process of trying to do that right now.
Okay, great. Does the operator have any questions in queue?
There are no questions at this time.
All right, I'll keep rolling. So we have one online. We have, I wonder if you could say a bit more about the relationship between positive externalities and the number of trees.
So, okay, positive externalities. So that is when somebody bears all the costs but not all the benefits. And I'm not quite sure what you mean by that and the number of trees. The higher the number of trees, the higher the externality is going to be. The more benefits you have, the greater proportion of those are going to spill over to your neighbors. I don't know if that answers the question. I'm not quite sure.
Okay. If it doesn't, that person can ask or rephrase it. So I'm wondering too. So as I was looking through the research, a lot of it is focused on, sizable tree. I forget what it had picked. 312 feet canopy cover, square feet canopy cover. So it was making the assumption of extrapolating out on large canopy trees. Do you do anything with immediate impacts? Like one of the things that I had seen from, I think it was the Anderson-Cordell research, was that there was a certain benefit to having mature trees in the yard, but even just planting like a 2-inch caliper tree in your front yard would increase the sales price by 1% immediately. Is there anything like that you saw?
Yeah, sorry, it wasn't quite clear. Size matters. So I was just using 312 feet as an example. If it had been 624 square feet, then it would have been much larger, the effect. So yes, size absolutely matters. And if you plant one immediately, you're going to have some benefit. The benefit will depend on the crown area of the tree. So yeah, the benefits go up. These big trees, some of the largest trees in our sample would have been worth $50,000, $75,000.
Is Portland doing anything to tie that into tree ordinance or other work? Like I know that they're doing pretty serious work on the capitalization of trees.
Yeah, they're trying to. One of the goals here is to increase current canopy cover in the city is 26%, and we're trying to increase it to 33%. And so there's a number of ways. There's a citizen advisory board that's currently coming up with new regulations and new incentives, I believe, to try and get to that goal.
Okay. I think one of the most powerful paragraphs just of what you had put to, or the research you had wrote, was about how this played into local policy. You had made some recommendations to the city of Portland, and based on that economic model of one person bearing all the costs and multiple people sharing it. Do you think there are any federal implications here? Do you see ways that the federal government could help support the local government?
Now you're getting into things. When you start talking about what should be done, then you start to get areas I'm not so good about. What I try and say is, here are the implications of policies. I'm not really in a position to say, make policy recommendations. But in general, the feds or anybody, if you bear some of the costs, or if you provide incentives, then you're going to get more trees. One of my favorite quotes about human behavior, about economics, is people respond to incentives, all the rest is commentary. And so that's what it comes down to. If you provide the right incentives, people will do it. If you don't, they won't. I don't know if that answers your question.
That'll work for now.
Okay.
I'll grill you more offline.
Sure, no problem.
All right. Well, I just want to repeat, we've had a couple of requests too for the website address, which I will link on along with the presentations afterwards. But for everyone listening, it's www.
No, it's not www. It's just HTTP.
Thank you.
And it's not on the wall. Yeah. So just HTTP : then what is it? Donovan.henry.info.
Yeah, and my Henry doesn't have an E.
No, HNRI.
Right.
Yeah, it's just the name of our program.
Great. So I'll link that again so everyone has it.
Sorry, I meant to put that on the presentation.
Yeah, no problem. All right. Does the operator have any questions in queue?
There are no questions at this time.
All right. So we will move on to the next presenter, and if there are additional questions for Jeffrey, we can get those at the end. So the next presenter is Jane Fortune. Jane has been the driving force behind Tree Fresno as Executive Director from March 2005 until November of 2009. Since November, Jane has narrowed her focus to the Director of Development, responsible for all major donors and fundraising. She joined Tree Fresno with over 25 years' experience in the nonprofit sector, raising money and guiding other charities in the Fresno region. Jane grew up in the San Joaquin Valley, holds a bachelor's degree from the University of Southern California, and has lived in Fresno with her husband, Larry, and 2 children for the past 30 years. She also serves on the Image Fresno Committee of the Greater Fresno Area Chamber of Commerce and was appointed by the Fresno County Board of Supervisors to the Highway 99 Beautification Committee and other charities. Later in the presentation, she'll also be joined by Brent Patch, who is a realtor with the Fresno Board of Realtors, and we'll turn it over to Jane.
Good morning, and thank you very much for inviting me to participate in the webinar today. I'm actually here with Brent Patch, a leadership position with the Fresno Association of Realtors, and as of March of this year is a brand new member on the board of directors of Tree Fresno. I have a PowerPoint up on the screen right now, and this is a program that I am very excited to bring and share with all the other tree organizations across the country. It's a very exciting program for us, and we think that it is one that can be duplicated anywhere in the country. Just to give you a little bit of history about Tree Fresno and working with the Fresno Association of Realtors, we have spoken to the group for the past 4 years. coming to them every year, telling them what Tree Fresno was doing, and at the same time trying to engage the individual realtor offices into becoming part of Tree Fresno on a bigger level. This year, actually in 2009, after our presentation to the board of realtors, they called us back and had another idea. Their idea was that we could enhance the community by planting fruit trees and other fruits and vegetables. I like the idea of fruit trees. They work really well. And I said, well, how about if we do fruit trees? It's a great idea, but we'll add canopy trees to the list and let people choose what they really need. So we created a program that we call Real Green, and at the close of escrow, participating realtors, instead of giving a gift to their new homeowners of potentially a bouquet of fruit or flowers or chocolates, they're going to give the gift of 2 trees to their new clients. The fee for the service is $100. But gone are the days of melted chocolates on the front doorstep or flowers that last a short time. The trees would be a gift of a lifetime. Each realtor would be remembered each time that new homeowner or business owner passes their tree. Now, I don't have to tell this group what the benefits of trees are, but let me tell you a little bit about what some of the benefits are to the realtors. The Fresno Association of Realtors will be the first board of realtors in the state of California to offer an urban tree program. Their clients will remember their realtors. The trees can be used at the close of escrow. They can be used for anniversaries. They can be used for birthdays or memorials. They can be used any time the realtor wants their clients to remember them. The Fresno Association of Realtors is a community partner of Tree Fresno, and so their logo and all their printed material will go on Tree Fresno's printed material. Their logo goes on our website and a table at our annual dinner. This urban tree program may lead to national recognition for the Fresno Association of Realtors. Really, the benefits are so far-reaching, we haven't discovered all of them. But they give the gift of a tree that is really a gift of a lifetime. The Fresno Association of Realtors also demonstrates environmental leadership in a groundbreaking program. They have a real sense to increase the urban forest in our community. But I think these trees add one other dimension that may be a little bit different than just providing canopy trees, and that is these fruit trees really create a sense of neighborhood. And I know Brent is going to talk a little bit about this in a moment, but I think this is a green benchmark for the realtors, and it can be done across the nation. So let me tell you a little bit about how our Real Green program works. And again, this program can be duplicated anywhere in the country. We are giving trees that are in the 5-gallon container size. Tree Fresno created a tree selection guide, and I believe it is online.
I'll put it up after this session.
Okay. Like I am out of my slides. But I can go ahead and the tree section is available to anyone. And what we did is we combined fruit and canopy trees. We have 37 trees in total for the realtors and their clients. It's already expanding into 2 other elevations. Fresno has the luxury of being in an area that extends from the valley floor up into the mountains. So we're creating a tree list that will be for the valley floor, for the 2,500 foot elevation and also for the 5,000 foot elevation, so all the realtors will be included in the tree selection. There are 10 fruit trees that we've selected to thrive in our valley. The varieties are not species specific due to the potential stock problems that the nurseries might have during the summer. Our planting season is really the 1st of October until the end of April. So instead of listing specific varieties, we list yellow peach, limes, mandarin in a generic form. All the fruit trees are dwarf varieties due to two factors, both the price and the smaller lot sizes that we are finding in the valley in the newer homes. Price for the fruit trees is ranging from $20 upwards, with the most expensive right now being around $27. The availability will vary in the summer months, so clients may have to take a rain check due to our short planting season and wait until fall for the delivery of their tree, or they may choose another tree. Now the shade trees there are 8 small trees that are offered, 1 evergreen, and the rest deciduous. There are 9 medium-sized trees, 5 evergreen and 5 evergreen and then 4 deciduous trees. And then there are 10 large trees offered with 6 evergreen. Each tree is described in full. All the trees are drought tolerant with their water needs, allergen potential, shape at maturity, carbon storage potential, and if the tree is safe under a power line. So all of this information is offered to the clients. The canopy trees their prices are generally running at $20 or less to tree Fresno. So what happens is, at the close of escrow, the client selects the 2 trees of his choice and a third alternative that he may wish to have in case of stock problems. There is also one other service that Tree Fresno is offering, and that is to have a consult to the new homeowners if they are unsure of what tree they would like to have or what tree would do best in their yard. We're finding that most people outside the tree business do not have a very limited knowledge of trees. So our tree specialists will go out and help them assist in selecting the very best tree for the very best location. We try and limit our time to 20 minutes max at each consultation. And then after the client has selected his trees, the nursery is notified and makes arrangements to deliver the tree to the home of the client. There's a $10 fee to Tree Fresno for this service. The trees have been delivered within a week to 10 days after the order is received to Tree Fresno. Along with the tree, there is a thank you card from the realtor, and there is this is generated by the Fresno Association of Realty, and they are mailed to the nursery. Then along with the tree, we send a bag with contents containing a planting guide by Tree Fresno, 2 stakes, 2 ties, and soil amendments to ensure the best possible survival rate for the tree. The homeowner plants the tree. So the realtor and the new homeowner both receive a 1-year complimentary membership to Tree Fresno. The benefits of the membership include a 20% discount at selected nurseries, free 6-pack of annuals, and a $10 off the annual Fresno City Park Pass, along with our Tree Fresno quarterly newsletter and an invitation to all Tree Fresno events. So this does 2 things really for Tree Fresno. It really gets our name out there. It collects new and potential, collects membership, but it also, at the end of the year, it collects potentially new members for Tree Fresno. So some of the other benefits to a tree organization, of course, is to increase their membership, to create a much larger community awareness, to increase revenue. The sale of the 2 trees to the realtor, the potential gain is approximately $25 in order to tree Fresno after the administration fees. There is a huge advertising potential in the bag that's delivered to the homeowner. We are offering advertising to potential affiliates of the Board of Realtors, and that people that might want their services from the new homeowners, such as landscape maintenance, landscape architects, pool contractors, remodelers, those kind of type affiliates to the Board of Realtors. So since this program has begun in January, it's kind of opening up new doors at every turn. But so far the program is working very well in that the tree orders are coming in and going out. In the approximately 6-week period, we've had 15 orders from the Board of Realtors. I'd also like to bring in Brent Patch at this time, too. He, of course, is in the leadership program of Fresno Association of Realtors and created the idea for the program. Brent?
Well, thank you for having us. You know, the true concept behind this is really to build a community. And as realtors, I think it's been an untapped resource. And so any tree association or anybody that wanted to tap into their realtors can really find an opportunity here to help their community grow. As realtors, it's our duty, I believe, to enhance the community and enhance our neighborhoods and enhance the world. We care about what's going on. For us to gift a client 2 trees where each day they can go out and see that tree grow and remember their realtor, it's an unending benefit for us. And we can not only think about our current clients, but the clients that are yet to come. For us, it's not only an environmental issue, but a humanitarian need. We want the community of Fresno to be known as a place where people can come in and be healthy, and we want people to be healthy. We want kids to know that orange juice isn't just from a bottle or a carton, that they can go out in their backyards and they can go and pick a tree-ripened fruit and enjoy that. We think that's important. It really developed from the concept, as Jane said, of our own personal lifestyle, where we have a neighborhood that has orange trees, pecan trees, mandarin oranges. Berries are passed across the fence for us to bake pies at Father's Day. We know when the Nichols are going to come down and leave their plums on our front porch. It really has built a community for us. And so as realtors, we want to increase our neighborhood's values, and we want to increase the neighborhood relationships. We are really proud of being the first in the state to go after this, and really beyond Fresno, we want to take it up and down the state so that we are planting millions of trees and creating an urban canopy in the state of California that has not been seen before.
I know we've run through this program very rapidly, and there may be questions out there from different nonprofits or other tree organizations.
All right. Thank you very much. Can the operator open the lines for questions, please?
Thank you. To ask a question, please press star 1, and you must record your name to ask a question. One moment, please, for the first question.
Okay, and again, feel free to type your question into the question and answer manager, and I can come on the line and read that for you. So I guess just getting a sense for how the program works. Do individual realtors have to opt into this, or have they all basically signed up?
So as members of the Fresno Association of Realtors, we are asking them to join the Real Green program. They have the opportunity to do that just by signing up and ordering for the trees. So they do have to be a realtor with the Fresno Association of Realtors, and then to join the Real Green program, all they have to do is to place an order once they are members of our association. Currently, any gift for a realtor, and as your last guest was talking about incentives, any realtor that gifts out would get a $25 tax deduction. but we at the Board of Realtors are now creating our own 501c3. Is that what it is? C3. So we have our own foundation where the money's going to be able to go into that foundation and then go directly into the Tree Fresno Foundation, therefore giving our members the benefit of 100% tax deduction on this.
I had a quick question about how this program was sort of explained and sort of distributed to the realtors. Was it sent out via email, or were they all? How did you get the word out?
Well, the realtors actually came to us first with an idea of the tree, but really it has gotten out from the realtors themselves. Now, I attend all of their MLS meetings, and so I will promote the program on a weekly basis. But there also has been released, there's been an article, at least 2 articles in the paper.
Beyond that, I'm visiting each and every real estate office throughout the community and presenting at their sales meetings as well.
We are also hoping we have a new mayor in Fresno. We're also hoping to get the mayor to buy into this program and make it an important part of her commitment to the community.
And in addition to all the benefits that we've been talking about, do you think this will also generate business for the realtors? People will remember that's the person who gave me the tree?
I think it will. I think that it's known that realtors, the statistics say we're forgotten in 6 weeks. I hate to say that. So that's why you always get those continual mailings and everything else from realtors to try to keep you in front of the client so they don't forget your name the next time their friend or relative is looking to purchase a home. To have that ever-present concept of having that tree in their front yard that they're walking by, pruning, picking fruit from, it's just a constant reminder of that relationship that was built at that time, and I think it will generate an abundance of repeat business.
Well, now I don't feel so special that I get mailings from my realtor every 6 weeks.
One of many.
One of many.
But think what they'll think of, if they have a tree in their yard.
That's right. When you go out on Christmas morning and pick an orange off that tree and you peel it and cut it up and put it into your Christmas salad, you'll know that realtor is feeding you a part of your Christmas morning breakfast. It'll be something that you'll remember forever. Great.
We had a question online asking if we could provide the written summary and description of the program as a resource, and I definitely will. I'll link all of the materials that you sent me, Jane, which were a brochure and the tree selection guide, I believe. And the video. Yep, you sent me a video as well, so I'll link all those things.
Absolutely, and I would be happy to answer any questions about the program if they want to contact Tree Fresno. I'd be happy to, because I think this program will work for every tree organization.
Great, and I'll be providing your contact information. All right, question. Does Tree Fresno or the Fresno Association of Realtors have connections with the local Home Builders Association? Does that organization have a similar program? There are lots of questions here.
They do. We do not have a direct connection. Also, Tree Fresno has community partners within the building industry, and they're actually next on my list. They're a little bit different than the realtors in that they have all new homes, but I definitely see the potential of having that they leave a similar gift for their new buyers at the home, and I can see the tree being part of it. So they're just the next people on my list to go see.
And do you find that new homes are usually landscaped already?
Sparsely, yes. Usually the front yards are minimally landscaped. In Fresno, the backyards usually are not. So it is an open palette, and that's frequently why they would like the consult from Tree Fresno. It's a blank page, and they have no idea where to start.
And does Real Green have any challenges with giving a tree to someone who doesn't have any room in their yard for another tree?
Not yet. And the other thought that we have is that Tree Fresno can create, if they are given a gift of a tree and they have no room for one more tree. I find that hard to believe. Even in my own yard, there's always room for one more. but Tree Fresno would like to create what we call a tree bank. We would take the donation and we would plant the tree in a public place. So the giving potential is still there.
I have a question about how things have gone. I know it's only been 6 weeks so far, but with the homeowners, have you been able to get a sense of, have the homeowners planted the trees and have they done a good job planting the trees?
They have. Matter of fact, we've gotten several correspondences back from the homeowners talking about what a wonderful experience it was to plant the tree. As a family, to get down there, dig the dirt, and do those different things, it was really a wonderful experience for them. And a lot of the only thing that you might be alluding to there is what if they can't plant the tree? What if it's an elderly person or somebody with a disability that doesn't allow them to plant the tree? I was speaking at the Clovis Chamber of Commerce just this morning about this program, and I had two different associations meet me in the back of the group saying, I'm from the Cub Scouts organization, I'm from the Boy Scout organization, I'm from this church, and we would all like to help anybody that can't put the tree in the ground themselves. We want to join in the community and be part of this program because we're so excited about it.
Do you know what that would mean to have Boy Scouts plant your tree for you? Now, Tree Fresno will plant the tree, but we do have to charge for our time, and but we would rather see other groups like the Boy Scouts do the planting for them. I think in these really tough economic times, people are thinking outside the box in ways to get things done, and communities come together more when volunteers come in and try and help each other. Issue has not come up yet, but I know it will.
And I know the program just started, but how many trees did you say have been planted so far?
15 orders, so that's 30 trees.
And your estimate or your projection is that you're hoping to plant 100,000 trees in the next decade, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Do you offer any guidance for planting their gift tree as a street tree in the public right-of-way? So they abide by the city rules about street planting, i.e. proximity to the road, sidewalks, and types of trees and such?
No, we have not given any guidelines as far as street trees are concerned, but that is a very good point, and I would like to address the street trees in another brochure. So far, all the trees have been planted on their own property, but I would like to put some information into that bag concerning street tree planting.
You may have addressed this already, but is it left up to them where on their property they want to plant?
I'm sorry, I didn't catch it.
Is it left up to the homeowner to decide where on their property they want to plant the tree?
Yes, it is.
But we give them the consultation, so we help them select the right place, and we tell them the benefits of the right place to put it for potential shade and or potential growth, so the tree roots don't, disturb the foundation of the property or their sidewalks or those sort of things. So we give them a consult as to what we believe is the right thing, but in the end, they will be able to dig their own hole.
Okay, great, thanks.
All right. Does Rudy have any questions in queue?
There are no questions at this time.
Okay. So we will hold it at that then. It's always great when we can finish before an hour as well. So I'm going to put up on the screen a slide for the survey. I'll email this out to everyone as well. And at the end, that's a 1-8. It's MAR-18, not Marl-8. But if everyone can complete this complete this survey form, I think there are 4 questions. That helps us to develop our programs, and we'll send you the link afterwards too for and where the recorded session is as a thank you. So the presentations, the recorded session, and the resource list will be available in about 1 week, and we'll email everyone who completes the survey. Otherwise, the next webcast session is Green Solutions to Stormwater Management on April 1st. It's the first Thursday of the month. As always, we do the first and the third Thursday of the month. And with that, I want to thank our presenters, Jane, Brent, and Jeffrey, all of the participants on today's call, and our sponsors, the Home Depot Foundation and the USDA Forest Service. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you for participating in today's conference call. You may disconnect at this time.
That worked very, very well. Thank you so much. You added a lot.
Hang it there.
No, that's okay. That's all right.